Hi, my name is Zach Maynard. I'm the chef at Lola's High-Low Lounge, and this is the Layered Onion. Cooking dinner every night and being present at the table was very important. It was something that my parents were very adamant about. People that worked ridiculously weird schedules. Like my dad worked second or third shift for 70% or more of my entire childhood. My mom works for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and she would work super early in the morning and get off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock or whatever. But it was always an important thing that we sat down and had dinner as a family, before my dad went to work or whatever. And we all of my family, my brother or my sister, we would all help cook in the kitchen. I was probably the most active one that would help out of all of us. My mom hates peeling garlic and chopping it, so that's probably the one that I learned to do first. Was probably that was just chopping things small and things like that. And then my dad would have me do cut green peppers and onions and things like that for him while he was doing whatever he was making. So it was just doing prep work for my parents essentially is how I got started doing cooking. And then cooking professionally was never something I really thought about pursuing. It was a lot of just I like doing it. I don't really want to go and do it and have it be ruined for me, because I read all the horror stories about people getting into the industry because they like to cook at home and do all those things, and then it just ruins it for them. But I always had a little bit of a different outlook for it. I don't know, the whole chaos environment is my favorite part. I thrive under it, and I feel it's my clearest form of thinking is when things are just going horribly wrong or are just so busy that you don't have time to think about anything else besides what's in front of you. I do really well under those situations. So it was always a natural fit. My parents always told me you should go to culinary school, go get into cooking, do something in the industry. And I was just I don't want to do that. And there was, I'm sure part of it was I don't want to listen to what my parents are telling me kind of thing. Cause I was 14 and they were just go do this. And I was no. So COVID happened. Everybody else, didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know what was going to happen. So I just started cooking more, doing weirder things. And I got into a lot of Jamaican and other Caribbean style influences and stuff like that from the area that I was living in, and learning a lot about that kind of stuff. And then I really just kind of one day I was I think I'm just going to do it. I just kind of just decided that it was the only thing that I did that felt like work, but never I got some sort of instant result. My biggest thing with working is I don't want to not have instant not necessarily gratification, but instant result. I like being able to see what my end goal is and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And cooking is the only thing I found that I understand step for step, minute by minute, why I'm doing what I'm doing. I was looking at some schools in Florida, and then just because COVID happened in the way it all shook down, we ended up having to move back home. And then I had some family that live in Phoenix, Arizona, and they let me stay with them while I went to culinary school. So I was originally going to try to go to a school in New York, and they kind of just fumbled the bag on handling my housing and my tuition and things like that. It was 2 weeks before I was supposed to be at the school, and they were here's your financial aid package, here's all the things, by the way, we can't help you get housing, but here's some places you can go through. And I was okay, you want me to move and pay $70,000 to do that? I was no, not going to happen. So that's how I ended up at the school that I went to, which it was hands down the best culinary school I think I could have gotten. I know some people that went to CIA and ICE, which is the Institute of Culinary Education. There's one in New York and LA. They that was the one I was going to try to go to, and they had good experiences and stuff, but a lot of them had the whole, it's the Michelin starred harsh reality, you get kind of treated poorly for a reason to build up those barriers and stuff before you get into the industry. And the school that I went to very much focused on the fact of that isn't what the industry is now. Post-COVID world, that is not how this works. There's places that do that, and there's places that work because that's what they are and that's how they succeed, and that's the only way that they can operate, but it's not what the industry is as a whole anymore. And working for Evan is the exact epitome of that. It is what the industry is trying to become, and it's part of how I want to where I want to stay. I'm the kitchen manager. I pretty much just collaborate with Evan on almost everything that happens for the food program there. He does a lot of the dumpling work. It's like his like special part of the menu that he cares the most about, I think. And I kind of just like this menu flip is completely, I think everything on there is something that like was originally my idea that he like then finished, or was just like an idea that I started and finished and showed it to him. And he was like, no, I like this. Let's do that. 4 times a year. Okay. One with every season. And then in the spring and the winter, we do like a little bit of a tweak to the menu. And we kind of just like, because the spring in Wisconsin for growing season, you know, like sometimes it's really early. Sometimes it doesn't start till May. You never really know. So we tweak with it once the growing season like hits really, really hard, and we can like do more things. Something we really like to focus on is just like seasonal vegetables that are grown in and around the area, because it's incredible produce that gets grown in Wisconsin. So when produce season really hits in earnest, we do a seasonal plate, and we just focus on whatever is like the most prevalently grown vegetable right now. Like the thing that every farm is just being overrun with, whether it's kale or kohlrabi or whatever it is. Like the last one we ran was just like a play on a braised collard greens, but it was with kale and pork belly. It was just like finding ways to use things that are like uniquely Wisconsin or unique to Wisconsin for the reason they're grown or whatever. And then like just highlighting why it's so good.
So tell me about like
the ham sandwich. So I wanted to like find a way to elevate it in a way that like you can actually put it on a menu, because you can't put like a ham and cheese slider on a menu. Like it's just not, it doesn't bridge the gap of like, why would I order this in a restaurant when I could literally just make this at home, right? So I found a way to just like make it better, which is like I found a farm over in Fitchburg through working with one of our reps that does Berkshire ham. So it's Berkshire pork ham. It's Swiss, Deppler's Swiss that's made here in Wisconsin, caramelized onions, Hawaiian roll, and like a poppy seed mustard aioli that like for the sauce. And it was like Evan told me multiple times, I don't think we should spend more time on this. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't think we can make it work. I gave him a final one. He ate it and he was like, okay, I get it now. And like, it is one of those, like one of the string of times where I've done something where I just like, he didn't think it would work or make sense. And I just proved him wrong. Like it's my favorite part of one of my favorite parts of working for him is doing things that are unique, that I think are special, and getting to convince somebody that has been cooking for infinitely longer than I have and will probably cook longer than I will at the end of the day. He still gets surprised and like listens to things that like you say. So I had the idea of doing a pineapple upside down cake because growing up, that was the dessert my mom would do for literally everything. Birthdays, every single holiday, Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, didn't matter what holiday it was, there was always a pineapple upside down cake around. And she made it out of a Duncan Hines like box cake mix. So I based the entire recipe off the way my mom makes pineapple upside down cake and made it from the box cake mix. Cause like that's all box cake mix is great. There's nothing wrong with it in any fashion. It is just pre-measured ingredients at a high yielded ratio so they can make really large batches and make bags of it. It's just doing like 50 to 60% of the work for you. So I just took the recipe, I took the cake mix and I whipped a bunch of egg whites like you would with souffle. And I kind of merged how you would make pineapple upside down cake with how you would make souffle, which is, like I said, like whipping up the egg whites and getting them a little extra stiff and folding it in to create like the actual like leavening portion. And then the whole thing is, like I said, finished in a way that like is more souffle like or in like refined. So it's like because I said the whole dinner is like a growth and reflection thing. And it's like, I feel like it's a really good reflection of that, of being able to be like, I grew up eating the most simple, basic version of this. And this is what it can be based off of all of the things that I went through to get to where I'm at now. So it was a really good way for me to just be like, to just kind of like say thank you to my parents for pushing me the way that they did to get to where I'm at. You can bend the rules. There's always room to do that. And it's just like knowing how to like what you can bend and how you can bend it, right? We were doing cookies last year on the winter menu, and I thought about doing a banana bread cookie. And I was like, how do you make banana bread into a cookie, right? Because the way you make banana bread is just bananas are everything, right? You use it in like 4 different ways and you put it all together and it kind of looks weird and then you bake it and it's fine. So through going to school and like learning about the things that like I wouldn't have known had I not like done it, is bananas are a replacement for eggs. That's why you don't use eggs in banana bread, because the banana acts as what the egg does. It's your binder. It does a lot of things like that. So I just made banana bread cookies where I made a cookie recipe and bananas were the eggs. And then you just layered more like banana chips and things like that into it. And it yielded what is probably the best cookie I've ever made in my entire life. It's incredibly good. Like it's a recipe that I think I will hold on to forever. And it's things like that where it's like learning where you can bend the rules and where you can change ingredients, right? When you're making things that like sourdough, if you want to make like an apple cinnamon sourdough, instead of adding water, add apple juice. Because all it is hydration. There isn't any point behind the water specifically outside of that it makes it wet. So just adding something that also makes it wet and doesn't create you an issue is the same thing. You're achieving the same things. So like adding apple juice or orange juice or whatever you wanted to like to change those flavors is how you get more flavor in a thing. So like, yes, you're following rules and you're still doing like your cup to cups and you're still, but like swapping out your liquids to get different flavors or swapping out your flour so you get like a more glutinous cookie with bread flour instead of all purpose. So it's chewier. Or like same thing with like brownies is like using bread flour yields you a chewier brownie because it gets more dense and fudgier. Like it's finding out like what things do certain things and how you can use them to bend your rules. It's like, you're right. It is a science. And like, you can't really change certain things, but you can change things that make things taste certain ways. And that's how you bend the rules. You sit down with a group of people, whether they're family or friends at a school lunch table, it doesn't matter. You're getting a sense of community that you can get nowhere else. Anthony Bourdain has a quote that I can't remember the exact verbiage on it or whatever, but like it's something to the effect of just like, you can learn a lot from a lot of places, but I've never learned more than sitting at a table and sharing a meal with somebody is like the genesis of like what he's actually saying. And it's really true. Like you sit down and you share something so natural and just normal that like you get a different sense of community out of it. I mean, like it's not the end all be all fix to all the issues, but like sitting down and like with your friends at a lunch table and everybody eats because they can is very important. Like there is like going to school and being a child is already hard enough, and doing all the things that have to happen as you grow up and as a child and going to school and dealing with all of like the societal issues that schools have, all the little cliques and all the like the weird things that happen. And like you have friends for no reason, you have friends for reasons. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have all the problems. So let's just take away one of them that's easily fixed, that we fixed before. Like we don't need to have kids being made fun of or embarrassed or like bullied because they can't afford a school lunch because their parents are having a hard time or whatever. Like it's not the children's fault. So why are we making it their fault? Like you're punishing somebody who has zero opportunity to fix a problem that they have no control over. And they're the ones paying the sacrifice. Nobody else. Like it's them and their parents. You're punishing people that have no choice. Like they can't do anything about it. They're already paying money for their children to go to that school and do all the things and are being taxed for all the things for schools and all the other stuff that goes on top of it. And we've already done it once. Why can't we do it again? Like there has to be a way to fix it. There's just no sense behind it. From eating like an ice cream sandwich to eating like a salad, it all does something for you in some fashion. Like it creates some sort of memory, happiness, whatever it is. Like it does something for you that is important, and to just deprive people of it doesn't. It's kind of like the homelessness issue. It's the same thing. Like there's got to be a way to at least provide food in some fashion more than what we're doing. Like, and that's not even just a Wisconsin thing. That's just a country's issue. Like that's an entire like societal problem for that one. Come to Lola's, come check it out. We have a new menu coming out today, 15th of October. We'll be running it, I don't know, middle of December or so, probably. Fall growing season's a little short, so this one gets turned a little bit faster. Yeah, we have a drag brunch coming up, middle of November, like just Sunday in November, first half, like the 12th or something like that, I think is the day. Come check that out. Taylor Swift versus Sabrina Carpenter, I think, is the theme for that one. So it should be a good time. Me and Evan will both be there, cooking food, creating a new menu for that. Changes every time. And then we have I think it's already happened, or no, it hasn't. But if anyone hasn't seen it already, the Sarah Akawa fundraiser. She's one of our DJs. She's like a local DJ for Madison. She got diagnosed with a pretty aggressive form of breast cancer. So there's like a fundraiser and a GoFundMe and stuff like that you can find. I think it's on the Lola's page at some point, or if you go to her Instagram, and you can look at it on there. I'm sure she still has it up. Thanks for listening. My name was Zach Maynard at Lola's High Low Lounge, and this has been The Layered Onion.